Hey there, fellow gardeners, it's your soil sensei here, and today I'm going to share something that completely revolutionized my pepper game. After years of experimenting with different fertilizers, amendments, and growing techniques, I stumbled upon one natural ingredient that transformed my pepper plants from mediocre producers into absolute powerhouses. The best part? You probably have it sitting in your kitchen right now, and it costs practically nothing. I'm talking about banana peels, but not in the way you might think. This isn't about simply throwing them on your compost pile and waiting months for them to break down. What I discovered is a specific method of using banana peels that delivers nutrients directly to your pepper plants when they need them most, creating explosive growth that will have your neighbors asking for your secret. Before we dive into the how-to, let me explain why this works so incredibly well. Peppers are heavy feeders, especially when it comes to potassium. This essential nutrient is what drives flower production, fruit development, and overall plant vigor. Most gardeners focus heavily on nitrogen for green growth, but here's what I've learned after growing peppers for over 15 years. Once your plants are established, it's potassium that makes the real difference between a decent harvest and an absolutely mind-blowing one. Banana peels are potassium powerhouses, containing about 40% of this crucial nutrient in a form that's readily available to plants. But here's where it gets interesting. They also contain phosphorus for root development and flower formation, plus calcium and magnesium that help prevent common pepper problems like blossom end rot. When you process them correctly, you're creating a perfectly balanced, slow-release fertilizer that feeds your plants exactly what they're hungry for. You know, what makes this even better is that banana peels also contain natural enzymes and beneficial microorganisms that improve soil health. I've noticed that areas where I've used this technique consistently have noticeably better soil structure and water retention over time. It's pretty amazing, really. Alright, here's where my method differs from what you'll find elsewhere online. Instead of burying whole peels or making liquid fertilizers that can attract pests, I've developed a technique that maximizes nutrient availability while minimizing any potential downsides. So, first, collect your banana peels and cut them into small pieces, roughly 1-inch squares. This increases the surface area dramatically, which speeds up decomposition and nutrient release. I keep a container in my freezer specifically for this. Freezing breaks down the cell walls even further, making the nutrients more accessible. It's a neat little trick if you ask me. Once you have enough pieces for your pepper plants, spread them out on a baking sheet and dehydrate them. You can use a food dehydrator if you have one, or simply set your oven to its lowest temperature and leave the door slightly cracked. The goal is to remove most of the moisture without cooking them. This process usually takes 4 to 6 hours depending on your method. It's a bit of a waiting game, but totally worth it. So you might be wondering, why dehydrate them? Well, fresh banana peels can actually attract fruit flies, ants, and other pests to your garden. Plus, if they're too wet, they can create anaerobic conditions in the soil, which leads to root problems. Definitely not what you want. Dehydrated peels, on the other hand, break down more predictably and just won't cause these issues. The timing of when you apply this natural fertilizer is, honestly, absolutely crucial for maximum impact. In my experience, the sweet spot is right when your pepper plants start setting their first flowers. That's exactly when their potassium demands skyrocket, and providing it at just the right moment really creates that explosive growth response you're after. For each mature pepper plant, I work about 2 tablespoons of the dehydrated chopped banana peels into the soil around the base, making sure to stay about 4 inches away from the stem. After that, I cover it all with a thin layer of compost or mulch. The peels will slowly break down over the next 3 to 4 weeks, providing a steady stream of nutrients right when the plants need them most. I repeat this process every month throughout the growing season, adjusting the amount based on plant size. Larger, more established plants can handle up to 3 tablespoons per application, while younger plants should stick to 1 tablespoon to avoid overwhelming them. Here's what I consistently see when using this method and what you can expect in your own garden. Within about 2 weeks of the first application, you'll notice the foliage becoming a deeper, richer green. This is the first sign that the potassium is being absorbed and the plant is responding. By week 3, flower production typically increases noticeably. I often see 30 to 50% more flowers compared to untreated plants. But here's the real magic. The flower retention rate is dramatically better. Instead of flowers dropping off due to stress or nutrient deficiency, they develop into healthy fruits. The most dramatic change happens around week 4 to 6. This is when you'll see what I call the pepper explosion. Plants that were producing modest harvests suddenly shift into overdrive. The peppers themselves are larger, have thicker walls, and develop their full color more completely. I've had gardeners tell me they thought I was exaggerating until they tried it themselves and saw pepper plants that looked like they belonged in a botanical garden rather than a backyard plot. While the banana peel method is incredibly effective on its own, I've found a few companion techniques that can amplify the results even further. First, make sure your soil pH is between 6.0 and 6.8. Peppers absorb potassium most efficiently in this range, so testing and adjusting your soil pH will help you get the maximum benefit from your banana peel applications. Second, consistent moisture is key. The microorganisms that break down the banana peels need adequate water to do their job effectively. I use a thick mulch layer around my pepper plants to maintain soil moisture and create the perfect environment for decomposition. Finally, don't neglect the basics of good pepper growing. This natural fertilizer works best when combined with proper spacing, adequate sunlight, and good air circulation. It's not a magic bullet that will fix fundamental growing problems, but when applied to healthy plants in good growing conditions, the results are truly spectacular. The beauty of this method is its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need to spend money on expensive fertilizers or worry about synthetic chemicals in your food garden. Every banana you eat is an opportunity to create premium fertilizer for your peppers, and the results speak for themselves. I've been using this technique for 3 growing seasons now, and it's become such an integral part of my pepper growing routine that I can't imagine gardening without it. The combination of explosive growth, increased yields, and healthier plants has made this my go-to recommendation for any gardener serious about growing amazing peppers. Remember, gardening is all about continuous learning and experimentation. What works in my garden might need slight adjustments in yours based on your soil, climate, and growing conditions. Start with the basic method I've outlined, observe your plant's responses, and don't be afraid to fine-tune the approach based on what you see. Ready to transform your pepper garden? Give this natural fertilizer method a try this growing season, and I guarantee you'll be amazed by the results. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to Soil Sensei for more game-changing gardening tips, and share this article with fellow gardeners who could benefit from growing better peppers naturally. Your garden and your dinner table will thank you.